Now, as we move forward into the big three featherweight division, this one is going to be ridiculous. Jean Silva, who we know is a bad dude, Brazilian, 14-2, coming through the contender series, taking on Melsik Baghdasaryan from Armenia. He's 8-2. Now, Jean Silva is a huge favorite in this fight because he's coming in with all types of, you know, momentum and support. I mean, people really believe that this guy could potentially be the future of the division, right? I mean, well, I'm sure Ilia Topuria will have something to say about that later. But imagine he keeps winning 4 or 5 fights here. He's going to end up getting to like 17, 18, 19, and 2. And if that keeps going, that can set up a huge fight with Topuria in the future, assuming Topuria is still the champ. Now, Topuria might fight once or twice, while Matsumoto fights 3 or 4 times, because that's how it goes when you're a rising contender. So he's going to pile up the wins if he can get past this one and continue rolling. So let's jump into this pick right now. In the featherweight division at UFC Seattle, you got Jean Silva taking on Melsik Baghdasaryan. Silva, Brazilian, 14-2. Melsik, Armenian, comes in at 8-2. Now, Melsik is 2 inches taller, 5'9". He's 33. Silva kind of entering that prime now at 28 years old. He's given up 1 inch in reach to Melsik. He fights right-handed. Melsik fights left-handed. Both guys right at 5.3 significant strikes per minute. Jean Silva lands like 1 takedown every 3 rounds. Melsik hasn't had any in the UFC yet. And Silva, 80% takedown defense. Beat Drew Dober by 3rd round KO. Charles Jourdain, 2nd round KO. Weston Wilson, 1st round KO. And beat Kevin Vallejos by decision at the Contender Series. So this guy is rolling right now. And when you look at the fighters, he's getting better and better fights, and he's continuing to win. Now, Melsik, on the other hand, he's got a 72% takedown defense. Probably won't be necessary anyway in this fight, as Silva's looking for the KO. Won the last fight against Tucker Lutz by decision, lost to Josh Kulabayo by submission, and won 3 in a row against guys like Denise Bazooka by decision at the Contender Series. Both guys made it to the UFC. Colin Anglin by KO. Bruno Souza, decision. But this one's real simple for me. I told you I'll never go against Silva again, at least for a long time, right? As he goes up the ladder, he's going to continue to win. This guy is impressive, and he's just 28 years old. So just wipe those 2 losses clean. This guy is, and whatever you saw last fight, he's only going to be better. You're going to see that for the next 3, 4, 5 years. He's just going to be better and better than you saw him last fight. So there's no way you can go against him here. And to make it easier, he's a 5-1 favorite. I'm just seeing that now myself. So it just confirms what I'm already thinking. Jean Silva wins, in my opinion, likely by finish, to move to 15-2 here. Featherweight division, UFC Seattle. And again, I mean, the theme of a lot of shows is don't invite Brazil to the party, because this thing is in Seattle. Now, when it's in other countries like, London and uh, just other places overseas, even Mexico City, you're going to get a lot of Mexican fighters, a lot of fighters in London or the surrounding areas, and crowd favorites. And then you invite a bunch of Brazilians to fight them. And, you look at it and you got 8 guys from their home country on the card, and 5 of them are Brazilian. And the Brazilians win 4 out of 5 of those a lot of times, or 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 7. So, this is going to be no different in multiple fights on this card. And this one will go the same way. Now, it's not like, Baghdasaryan is from Seattle, right? He's from Armenia. But I'm just saying, the Brazilians do seem to do really, really well when they're on someone's home turf. Not Baghdasaryan's home turf, but just like they go on the road to Seattle and London, and it's like they just find ways to win. I mean, they just find ways to win. And the Brazilians are heavy in a few fights on this card.